الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بالإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد. So as we continue to discuss the book that is titled Usul As-Sunnah by Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal rahimahullah. And in the last session that we had discussed concerning matters pertaining to the book that is titled Usul As-Sunnah by Ahmad ibn Hanbal. And also we had added where after the time of the fitna of Ahmad ibn Hanbal that we had added regarding that there were other of the ulama that stood against concerning the false idea that was being imposed upon the Muslim. So we find Ahmad ibn Hanbal and others who opposed this idea. Then also we discussed concerning matters regarding that he mentioned regarding in the first point that is mentioned in the book, that he mentioned Ahmad rahimahullah in this first point that he mentioned that he stated Usul As-Sunnah indana. So he mentioned of his first statement Usul As-Sunnah indana. So he mentioned regarding concerning what is intended or what is meant by using the term Usul As-Sunnah. So regarding concerning Usul As-Sunnah, that of the ulama who are all concerned at Usul As-Sunnah, where Ahmad rahimahullah that he mentioned certain first that he divided his book into two sections. The first, he discussed some points relating how to approach the study of Aqidah. So the first of the things that he wished to lay down as points, as principles, they mention as qawaid al-kulliyah, certain general principles that one must observe in studying concerning Aqidah. So he mentioned certain points regarding points to be followed, to be understood correctly regarding how to approach the study of Aqidah. So he mentioned Usul Sunnah, so the word Usul, that it could carry several meaning based upon what is mentioned by the ulama, the word Usul. So we discussed concerning what is the meaning of the meaning of the word Usul, and we mention those matters. Then also mention As-Sunnah as to what is meant by As-Sunnah, and we mention the word Sunnah linguistically, it has a certain meaning, and also the word Sunnah that it can take a different meaning depending on the science that's being discussed. So the word As-Sunnah may carry various meaning depending on the science that in which is being discussed. So with the ulama of hadith, they have a certain meaning regarding the word Sunnah. The word Sunnah with the ulama of Usul, it have a certain meaning. Also the ulama, the fuqaha, they use the term Sunnah to have a certain meaning. And also the ulama of Aqidah, that they use the word Sunnah in a particular manner. So each science, they use the word Sunnah that as relevant to their science. So we discussed concerning this matter concerning Usul, and as for Usul Sunnah, there are certain points that relates to Aqidah. So Usul Sunnah, it relates to either principles, guidelines that one needs to observe in their study of Aqidah. So Ahmad rahimahullah, that he wished to outline some of these matters. Also we discussed regarding As-Sunnah or Usul Sunnah, that there's points in Aqidah that are said to be of the Usul of Aqidah that are matters that are agreed upon by Ahl Sunnah. So there are certain matters that are covered regarding Aqidah that is agreed upon, where there is no difference between the ulama of Ahl Sunnah and the people of Sunnah. But there are certain points that can be somewhat, as I mentioned, masahil daqiqa wal ghamida, that somewhat can go very into certain details, and the text also could go different ways. That are some of those secondary points regarding Aqidah, where you might find a degree of the difference between the ulama on those points. So I'll give some example regarding those, and as we go through the book, we find certain points where the asl is established. Then on certain detail, you might find a difference between the ulama. Regarding concerning of those different could be based upon certain hadiths that have been mentioned, is it authentic or not. Those all the hadith to be authentic, they act upon it and take what can be taken from it. And also those all hadith not to be authentic, that they may not take to that point. So those matters will be also discussed in some of the points of Aqidah. So some points in Aqidah may fall into this. Then we mentioned regarding, as the statement of Ahmad rahimahullah in this book, he mentioned tamassuk bima kana alayhi ashab Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam wa iqtidahu bihim. That he mentioned of the first of those points regarding Usul Sunnah, regarding things that the person who is studying of Aqidah, of those first things one should have in place a certain principle that one follows, that we refer to as manhajiyah. So the term al-manhajiyah may be used or regarding concerning in studying, so the methodology that one should apply and follow in studying Aqidah. What are some of those principles and points that one should follow? So I mentioned here, Tamassuk bima kana alayhi ashab Rasulullah, with the first of those points, that it revolves regarding the importance and the role of the Sahaba. So in matters concerning the Sahaba, the companions of the Prophet ﷺ, that what they were upon, one tried to follow what they were upon and uphold what they were upon regarding matters concerning Aqidah in the Deen in general and in Aqidah in specific. So regarding concerning what the companions, what they represent, how they understood Islam, in matters concerning Islam in general, the masail of Islam in general, and also in specific matters concerning Aqidah. So we try to uphold the principles and the ideas that they were upon and the creed that they represent. So I mentioned it shows one, the virtue of the Sahaba and the position and status, and we discussed this, and some text regarding the status of the Sahaba, radiyallahu anhum. Second of those points that can be taken regarding identifying who is said to be a Sahaba. So the ulama, they have identified regarding the Sahaba, meant that it revolves around three things for a person to be said to be a Sahaba or Sahabi. One, that a person have viewed or seen the Prophet ﷺ, man raha Nabi ﷺ, the one who have seen the Prophet ﷺ, mu'minan bihi, and he believes in him, the Prophet ﷺ, and his message while he was alive, wa mata ala Islam, and that person that he died upon Islam. So if the person fulfilled these three criteria, they are said to be a Sahaba, that they met and they saw the Prophet ﷺ. So meeting the Prophet ﷺ. Second, whether that person, that meeting was for a short period of time or for a long period of time, for years that they were with the Prophet ﷺ, close companionship, or that person met him as a child or an adult. So all is said to be the person have conformed to that first condition, that they met the Prophet ﷺ, where the person saw him with a naked eye, or the person was not able to see him but heard or met him, then he said to be one of the conditions. The second condition, that a person also he believed in the Prophet ﷺ regarding the message of Islam that he came with while the Prophet ﷺ was alive. And the third criteria is that the person, that upon that the person he died as a Muslim, he died upon at-Tawheed wa Sunnah. So the person died upon Islam, then that person is said to be a Sahabi. And also regarding that, they mentioned, so that's the next matter that he discussed. Then they mentioned also wa iqtida bihi. Then also he discussed concerning the person also following their example, following the example of the Sahaba and upholding what they were upon. So as we mentioned in the last lesson, that we can somewhat will expand or add a few more points regarding this matter. Of those points to be discussed concerning that, a word concerning that upholding what the companions of the Prophet ﷺ were upon, then this is said today is used concerning the Muslim in general. The ulama, they use the term as-salaf. So that there are another way of discussing concerning what the companions were upon at times, or what the ulama also, they'll use the word, another term that will be used is the word as-salaf. So the Sahaba, that they refer to as as-salaf as-salih. So the Sahaba, they are part of what is referred to as salaf as-salih. So as for the salaf as-salih, what is meant by as-salaf? So the salaf linguistically mean man taqaddam wa man madha. So the word salaf, it means those things that have passed, those who preceded before. So that's concerning the linguistic meaning. And the word salaf, that so as for the salaf as-salih, regarding concerning who are said to be the salaf as-salih from Sahaba, there's a khilaf between the ulama regarding concerning looking or identifying who are said to be a salaf as-salih. One, they look at it by way of the salaf as-salih regarding a time period, where they refer to concerning those who live within that period, that time period, that they are said to be from the salaf as-salih. So the salaf as-salih, the ulama, they disagree regarding the ulama of those who owe to the jumhur of the ulama, that they all concerned that the salaf as-salih, by way of tahdeed zamaniyah, by giving a certain time period of who are said to be the salaf, that they mentioned that the salaf, jumhur, ashab, qurun, al-mufaddala. So they mentioned that the salaf as-salih, there are those who lived in the time of the first three generations of the Muslim, as we refer to ashab, al-qurun, al-mufaddala. So that's concerning ashab, and they are min al-sahaba. So that time, the glory years of Islam, and that period is the first three generation. It would include as-sahaba, tabi'in, wa tabi'in, or atba' at-tabi'in. So that concerns the first three generations of Islam. The sahaba being the first, the second being that of the tabi'in, and the third atba' at-tabi'in. They are said to be the salaf as-salih, and that's called jumhur of the ulama, qadiman wa haditha. So that's the view that is taken by the ulama, majority of the ulama of the past, and also of the ulama of past, and also those of contemporary times. And they mention كانت وفاة آخر أتباع التابعين, the last of the tabi'in, or أتباع التابعين to have died. They mention that's the year concerning 221. So they'll find the last of those who are said to be from the Salaf, that they died around the year 221 al-Hijri. Of the ulama who increase, and I mentioned that also included in the Salaf al-Salih, from among the Atba' al-Tabi'in, they'll also include Ahmad ibn Hanbal, who died 241, as we had mentioned, as mentioned by Ibn Hajj, and also others. So I mentioned Ahmad ibn Hajj, Ibn Rajab rahimahullah, he mentioned, وفي زماننا يتعين كتابة الكلام السلف مقتضى بهم. So I mentioned that it is upon us that we should record the statement of the Salaf al-Salih, that we follow their example إلى زمان الشافعي, up to the point of the Imam at the time of Imam Shafi rahimahullah. So the ulama from the Sahaba wa tabi'in wa atba' tabi'in, including also of those that include as being of the Salaf, that also will be included of the zaman of Imam Shafi, the time of Imam Shafi rahimahullah, who died 204, Ahmed 241, Ishaq ibn Rahuya, who died 238, and also Abu Ubaid. So Abu Ubaid, that also died 240, 224. So that's concerned that the view that he holds. And of those who can somewhat share that view, also Al-Ajuri. So Ibn Rajab rahimahullah, that he always concerned that the Salaf, they are the Sahaba, the Tabi'in, Atba' Tabi'in, up until the period that include Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Imam Shafi, Ishaq ibn Rahuya, and the likes. So that's concerned of the view of the ulama. Others of the ulama who all concerned that the Salaf al-Salih, that they are the Sahaba wa Tabi'in. So of the ulama who all that those who are referred to as the Salaf al-Salih, that's the generation of the Sahaba and the Tabi'in, and that's it for them. So for them it is two generation, the Sahaba and the Tabi'in. Of those who incline towards that view concerning that, Qadi Iyad. So Qadi Iyad in his book Fi Qadi Iyad rahimullah, that more inclined towards that view, that the Salaf, they are the Sahaba and the Tabi'in. Then also there's a view regarding concerning that all concerned that the Salaf, that they are only Sahaba. So those who all concerned the Salaf, that they are is the jeel of the Sahaba, is the generation of the Sahaba only. So you have that view that is held by some of the ulama. So you might find, and that term is used by some of the ulama who came from the Tabi'in. So the Tabi'in, that they refer to as the generation before them as being their Salaf. So being of their Salaf. So that's concerned that matter regarding concerning that were said to be of the Salaf al-Salih, the Sahaba of the ulama, all that they are the Sahaba, those who all that the Salaf al-Salih, the Salaf, that they are the Sahaba and the Tabi'in, those who all that they are the Sahaba, the Tabi'in, Atba' Tabi'in, and even those who include regarding Imam Ahmad, Imam Shafi as being a part of the Salaf al-Salih. So that's concerning the view that is held by the ulama. They mentioned Jumhur as we're concerned that we're looking concerned that during those time of the time of the Sahaba, you might find concerning people who somewhat have deviated. So you might find that the majority of the ulama, the majority of the Muslim, that are upon Islam in its pure form, we might find a slight deviation from a minority, from few. So in the time of the Sahaba, you find those who deviated. In the time of the Tabi'in, few that some that deviated, Atba' Tabi'in, those who deviated, so those are not included in the Salaf al-Salih. So that's concerning, so to clarify that matter regarding not everyone during the time of the Sahaba, that from the time after the death of the Prophet of Islam, that they were upon, that they didn't have a few issues. So that's concerning matters relating to this. So they mentioned regarding concerning the Salaf al-Salih. So you find that certain deviated ideas that they kind of somewhat start to emerge early from the time of the Sahaba. So concern the death of the Khawarij, concern that they were involved in the death of Uthman and the likes, what took place between Ali and others from the Khawarij. So you find that some of the deviated sects that they did emerge during the time of the Sahaba. So they are not included on the Salaf al-Salih because of their deviance. So that's concerning that matter. So it mentioned regarding concerning that that some of the tabi'een used to refer to the Sahaba as being their salaf. Mentioned قال الراشد ابن سعد قال كان السلف يستحبون فهول لأنها أجرى وأدسر. That I mentioned that the salaf that I used to prefer regarding those horses that are said to be of the fahul, those are to the male stallion, because they were much quicker and more stronger. So that's concerning. So it shows regarding concern that the salaf that they refer to are what is intended by when I mention sahaba, that would include regarding the salaf, the sahaba, the tabi'in, atba' tabi'in, and that's the general understanding that is held by majority of the ulama, that the salaf as-salih, they include the first generation of Islam. So you find the likes of certain deviants who were present at the time of the salaf concerning the Ghailan, al-Damashqi, al-Murji, also the Harabat al-Jahmiyyah from Jad ibn Dirham, who died 124. So concerning Jabir ibn Safwan, so Jahm ibn Safwan, who died 128. So those and also Wasil ibn Ata, who died 131. All of these are said to be people who are deviated ideas. So Wasil ibn Ata regarding i'tizal, also Jam ibn Safwan, Jad ibn Dirham regarding tajahum. So those ideas were present in the time of the Salaf, but they are not concluded as a part of those who are said to be the Salaf as-Salih. Also of those points that they mentioned regarding concerning that with the ulama, that they discuss concerning another point regarding what's the hukum ittiba mathab as-salaf. What's the hukum regarding ittiba mathab as-salaf? So what's the hukum regarding following the way of the Salaf as-Salih? What's the hukum regarding following the way of the Salaf as-Salih? So the ulama mentioned regarding concerning various statements of the ulama that shows that it is wajib ittiba mathab as-salaf. So regarding ittiba, following the way of the Salaf as-Salih, that this is wajib upon every Muslim. It's not something which is mukhayyar, the person of our choice, but regarding following the way of the Salaf as-Salih, this is something which is wajib upon every Muslim. So you have those who kind of somewhat, they more identify to the second matter regarding fahm as-salaf. So also regarding concern the important aspect regarding that we owe to the Salaf regarding due to their understanding of Islam, their fahm, and also where they apply Islam. So regarding concerning of the more of an important matter regarding the Salaf, the Sahaba, that we look to them more so regarding how they understood Islam, also how they look at ilm, so their understanding al-fahm, wal-istidlal, al-masdar, the thing that they also what they deem to be of the source of Islam. Third, regarding their i'tiqad, their way of understanding, their aqidah, their belief, their creed, what it was, and we're trying to align with it, and also how they acted upon Islam. So these are things that we look to from the Sahaba regarding their fahm, their ilm, their aqidah, their actions, and the likes, and also their suluk, and also their behavior and conduct. So we look to them regarding these matters, and we try to follow them in those things. So as mentioned by Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah, where he states regarding intisab ila mathab as-salaf, he mentioned regarding it is something which is wajib for a person to follow the way of the Salaf as-Salih and to adhere to this method of Islam. He mentioned la aiba ala man adhar mathab as-salaf, that there's no aib, that there's no fault, there's no criticism on a person who profess and declare the mathab of the Salaf. وَيَنْتَسِبْ إِلَيْهِ, and also the person that he affiliates to it. وَإِتِزَاء إِلَيْهِ, and also the person that he upholds this and attribute himself to this. بَلْ يَجِبْ قُبُولْ ذَلِكَ مِنْهُ بِاتِّفَاقٍ, rather it is a must that the person is a must to accept this from it, and this is agreed upon. So it is بَلْ يَجِبْ قُبُولْ ذَلِكَ مِنْهُ بِاتِّفَاقٍ, rather it is something which is a must for one to accept this from him, as this is something agreed upon. So this concern mentioned فَإِنَّ مَثَبَ السَّلَفِ لَا يَكُونْ إِلَّا حَقًّا, that also Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah mentioned فَإِنَّ مَثَبَ السَّلَفِ, that indeed the mathab of the Salaf لا يكون إلا حق. That is not, it is but nothing but the truth. So he mentioned, فإن كان موافقا له بالباطن وظاهر فهو بمنزلة المؤمن الذي هو على حق باطنا وظاهرا. Then he mentioned regarding concerning other matters, but the shahid that he mentioned, that لا عيب على من حذر, that there is no aib upon a person who proclaims the method of the Salaf. And also he adheres to this and clings to this and affiliate to this. Rather, it is a must regarding acceptance of this. And I mentioned that the method of Salaf لا يكون إلا حقا. So that's concerning method of Salaf that the Muslim should adhere to. The next of those points regarding, or referred to as, why we owe to the method of the Salaf of the Sahaba and those who follow the method of the Salaf of Salih, also of those things that one should distinguish regarding what are said to be the Usul, Da'wat al-Salafiyah. So I mentioned that the Sahaba, they are said to be of the Salaf, and those who follow their way of the Tabi'een and Atba' Tabi'een. Another thing to be looked at, that to be discussed in brief, what are said to be Usul, Da'wat al-Salafiyah. And fourth, you might find those who claim Salafiyah, and so you have those who claim Salafiyah, but that claim is just a claim. But as for their belief, as for following the path of the Salaf al-Salih, it is not present with them. But they may claim Salafiyah, but as for the principles and the way of the Salaf, it is not found with them. But they just make a claim. But as for the rules, the principles and the guidelines of the Dawat al-Salafiyah, this is not found with them. So of those things that are signs that a person upon the way to Salaf al-Salih, genuinely of those things, that some of the ulama have discussed these things, and of those, Shaykh Abdul Salam al-Birjis. So you find one of the Mashaykh who have died, who Shaykh Abdul Salam al-Birjis rahimahullah, that he had a lecture that he gave, and then that lecture will discuss concerning Usul Dawat al-Salafiyah. So it's a lecture that he gave, that he discussed concerning Usul Dawat al-Salafiyah. Then that lecture was eventually put in a form of a book, where he discussed around 10 principles that distinguish Dawat al-Salafiyah. So we'll mention as being of these things that the Shaykh mentioned regarding Usul Dawat al-Salafiyah. The first of those points to be included, the Shaykh did not include that to be included, is what is stated here by Ahmad al-Hanbal. That tamassak, so the first of the Usul Dawat al-Salafiyah is of those principles mentioned here regarding tamassak bima kana li ashab Rasulullah sallallahu wa iqtada bihim. That the first of the Usul of Dawat al-Salafiyah, that one adhere and hold to the path and the things established by the Sahaba and follow their example. That's the first Usul Dawat al-Salafiyah. So that's the first of Dawat, the Usul of Dawat al-Salafiyah, adhering to the path of the Sahaba. Wa tabi'een, wa atba' at-tabi'een. The second, also, as for what is mentioned as by Shaykh Abdul Salam al-Birjis rahimahullah, he mentioned, as for these usul, in general mentioned, al-asl al-awwal, ihtimam wal-inaya bitalabat al-ilm al-shar'i wa tafaqquh fi ad-din. So the first of those principles that he mentioned the first of Dawat, or the Usul of Dawat al-Salafiyah, first, al-ihtimam wal-inaya, that giving importance and great interest and effort in of spreading and seeking of knowledge al-shar'i, and seeking understanding of the deen. And we can add wa nashrat al-ilm, and also intishar al-ilm, and the person also trying to spread this knowledge. So of the Usul of Dawat al-Salafiyah, that emphasis and importance is placed upon seeking of knowledge, Islamic knowledge from its proper sources, and to have proper understanding of the deen and to spread this knowledge. This is from the Usul of Dawat al-Salafiyah. So Dawat al-Salafiyah is built upon this. So they mention, Allah mentioned, قُلْ هَذِهِ سَبِيلِي أَدْعُو إِلَى اللَّهِ عَلَى بَصِيرَةٍ. Second of those principles, أصل ثاني, the Shaykh mentioned, الحرص على تطبيق العمل للإسلام والإسلام والسنة. So the second of those principles that the Shaykh mentioned, الحرص على تطبيق العمل للإسلام. The second of those things that distinguish Dawat al-Salafiyah, that interests the person showing eagerness towards applying Islam. So the person must adopt and apply Islam openly. So regarding concerning those, so the Muslim, regarding Dawat al-Salafiyah, he put emphasis regarding that one adhere to Islam openly. Regarding the way that we dress, regarding every aspect of Islam to the person's best ability. So the person we should see the sign of the Sunnah upon the person. So the sign of the Sunnah regarding his ibadat, his mu'amalat, regarding his conduct, regarding concerning the person attire, or the person, so the person here's ala tatbiq al-amali lil-Islam was Sunnah. But third of the point the Shaykh mentioned, al-asl thalith, ad-dawa ila Allah ala basira. So ad-dawa ila Allah ta'ala ala basira. So also the third point mentioned by Shaykh Abdul Salam rahimahullah, he mentioned ad-dawa ila Allah, that the call to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the call to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ala basira, but based upon basira, which is al-ilm. So regarding concerning ad-dawa ila Allah, that one call to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala based upon, and this dawah it is to be done by way of basira, based upon knowledge and insight. So regarding concerning this matter, regarding ad-dawa ila Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is an integral part of Dawat Salafiyah. So it's an important aspect of Dawat Salafiyah regarding inviting others to Islam and calling to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but with a criteria, it is based upon basira. And this basira, regarding concerning a person of knowledge, so regarding concerning a dawah, that dawah it have ghaya, it have certain usul that a person has to be aware of. It have regarding the sifat al-da'i, that there is certain criteria for the da'i, the person is the caller, also the person that is clear regarding what his objectives are. So those things have to be in place with a person by way of dawah, by way of ad-dawah, wal irshad, wal tawjih, wal nasiha. So all of this is a part of a dawah. So the person guiding, teaching, and educating people about Islam, but it's based upon wifq, manhaj al-nabuwah. But this dawah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it must be upon the way of a nabuwah, must be upon the way of the Prophet Islam, or the way of the Anbiya. The fourth of the point that Shaykh Abdul Salam rahimahullah, he mentioned, al-asl al-rabi' al-ihtimam bil-bayan aqidat al-salaf, ilman wa amalan wa ta'aliman. So the Shaykh, he mentioned of those points, he mentioned al-ihtimam, so also importance in clarifying the aqidah, the correct aqidah of the salaf al-salih, by way of with knowledge, based upon knowledge, and also based upon action, and also by way of ta'lim. So concerning of those things that distinguish Dawat Salafiyah of its usul, ihtimam bil bayan aqidat salaf as-salih, that emphasis is placed on clarifying the correct aqidah that the Salaf as-salih represent. So this is done by teaching, by way based upon ilm and the likes. As mentioned by subhanahu wa ta'ala, مَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. We have not created, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, the English rendering, we have not created the jinn and mankind except to worship, to establish Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala worship. So, of the part of our purpose is that we establish, clarifying the correct aqidah. Next of the fifth of the point the Shaykh he mentioned, al-asl al-khamis, al-ihtimam bi-sunnah al-nabawiyah wal-hirs ala-amal biha. So the fifth of those points is that a person regarding Dawat Salafiyah, that emphasis and importance is placed on clarifying the prophetic sunnah. So clarifying the Prophet Islam sunnah, and by this for people to act according to it. So teaching, so the sunnah is to be emphasized, is to be called to, it to be taught, so as the people can act upon it. And the first in line of those people to act upon it, the caller and the teacher. So they are supposed to manifest the sunnah in their life. So manifestation of the sunnah in our lives, and also spreading this amongst the Muslim. And it mentioned wadawa ila sunnah, and also inviting others to the sunnah. So all aspects of the sunnah, that one is to call to the sunnah by clarifying the sunnah, and also we will add, so say we'll add to this, this is our addition to this. We mentioned wabayan ma huwa sahih minhu. So at-tafriq as-sahih min ad-da'if. Also of those things regarding importance given to the sunnah, is that also making that distinction between those ahadith that is authentic and those that are not. So also emphasis is to be placed in distinguishing the sunnah and nabawiyah as-sahiha from those which is da'ifa wal makzuba. And that goes back to the ulama of sunnah, and also ihtijaj biha, and also for the person to see it as a source of evidence. So to see the sunnah as a source of evidence, So whatever sunnah is that is authenticated, whether ahad or mutawatir, one act upon it. Contrary to those people who put emphasis regarding, they can somewhat more emphasize or try to emphasize regarding a sunnah al-mutawatir, and they have concerning that doubts regarding a sunnah al-ahad. So Ahl-Sunnah is not of that way, not of that way at all. So the general thing regarding ihtimam bi sunnah nabawiyah, we rehearse al-amal biha. So importance and emphasis is placed regarding clarifying the prophetic sunnah, and also that emphasis is placed also regarding acting in accordance with and living according to it, and also calling and inviting others to the sunnah and clarifying the sunnah and teaching the people the sunnah, and also distinguishing between those that are said to be the authentic sunnah and also those that are not authentic, and to warn against it. The sixth of those points that the Shaykh mentioned regarding usul as-sadis, that he mentioned al-irtibat al-wathiqa wathiq bi-ulama as-sunnah. So that's also of our next point that Shaykh mentioned regarding of those things that distinguish either da'wah of Ahl-Sunnah or da'wah salafiyah from other da'wah that are out there. He mentioned al-irtibat al-wathiq bi-ulama as-sunnah. So having that strong connection with ulama of the sunnah, wherever they may be. So the thing that distinguishes da'wah salafiyah is that having that connection with ulama of the sunnah by way of direct connection, by knowing of the ulama of the sunnah wherever they may be, direct connection, listening to them, spreading their teaching, and also through their books. So having that strong connection with the ulama, with those ulama of the sunnah of the past or of the present. So having that strong attachment and connection to the ulama of the sunnah, whether those ulama of the past or those of present. And we have many of the ulama, so have those ulama regarding, so having that connection to the ulama, not just mention of their name, but referring back to them. And teaching of their works. And for the talib and for the teacher also to benefit from their works. So the ulama of the sunnah are many. The ulama of the sunnah of the past and of present, that they are many. And also we may add, so this is the addition from us. So this is our additional, so between qawsayn, that mentioned regarding wa talabat al-ilm. So also having that connection to the people, the tullab al-ilm of the sunnah. So working, cooperating with them, working along with them. So the people of sunnah, or the tullab al-ilm, that also they themselves are the person connecting oneself with them, as they will connect us to the ulama. So connecting to the people, tullab al-ilm, who have studied and known to the ulama, for their of having knowledge of the sunnah, that also, and they themselves working between themselves. So them having a connection between themselves and working together, and also that so that's also of that matter to be mentioned. And also we could add to this. So that's concerned that matter. Seventh of the matter the Shaykh he add concerning والأصل السابع ابتعاد عن الحزبية والجماعات الإسلامية السرية. So that's also the usul of da'wah salafiyah, that one avoid, distance oneself from any connection to any hizb, to any party or jama'at, that these Islamic groups that are secret groups, or that you have to have some form of membership. So any form of group, they have a membership, and either whether they are public or private, secretly, then distance oneself from these groups. So any Islamic groups that are there, then one distance oneself from these groups. Whether these groups, they operate publicly. This body is an organization that have membership. Then one distance oneself from them. And any other party, any other group or organization that do not call to the sunnah and emphasize the sunnah and the correct aqidah and have a good rapport with the ulama of Ahl-Sunnah. So that's concerned that matter. And also that one may add regarding al-asabiyya ila ashkhas. Also any group that have some asabiyya of a particular individual, then one also be mindful and stay away from this. Then the Shaykh mentioned al-thamin, asl al-thamin, that distinguished da'wah salafiyya, that is said to be of the usul of da'wah salafiyya, iltizamuna بما دلت عليه الكتاب والسنة وأجمع عليه الأمة في معاملة أئمتنا وحكامنا. So the thing that he also mentioned regarding concerning also of those things, أئمتنا وحكامنا, that also of the point that they mention, التزامنا, that are those things that we hold to what have been mentioned by way of the Quran and the Sunnah, wa ijma of the ulama, regarding how we should work along or cooperate with the leaders of the Muslim. So we stick and we hold to what have been mentioned by way of the Quran or the Sunnah or ijma of the ummah, the ulama of Islam, regarding how we should cooperate and work with those in authority, the leaders, and those in authority, which is the general principle, which is as-sam'a wa ta'a li walatul umur fi ghayr al-masiyah, that one hear and obey those in authority in things that does not contradict Islam. So one hear and obey those in authority in matters that does not contradict Islam or go against Islam. So those are the things that one, so that's concerned, and those matters be discussed further, but as a general usul, and that's of the thing that is mentioned by the Shaykh rahimahullah ta'ala. The ninth of the usul of Ahl-Sunnah, al-asl al-tasi' munabathat al-bid'ah wa tahdhir minhum. So the next thing that he mentioned, that munabatha, that one go against or opposing the people of bid'ah, and also to warn against them. So to warn against them because of their bid'ah. So one warn against them because of their bid'ah. So the thing they involved that is bid'ah, then one warn against them because those people of the people of bid'ah, and also against the bid'ah they are involved in. So regarding concern of the thing that distinguish Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that they openly and secretly, privately and publicly warn against Ahlul Bid'ah and Bid'ah, and also caution and warn against them. So that's concern of those things. And also Ar-Rad, we can put also add Wa-Rad al-Ahli Bid'ah wal-Bid'ah, and also that they refute the people of Bid'ah. So also to refute the people of Bid'ah and their Bid'ah. And that's ijma between the Salaf. That's an ijma between Ahl-Sunnah regarding refuting Ahlul Bid'ah wal-Ahwa. So that's the points. So this matter regarding concern that refuting Ahlul Bid'ah is an established principle within the principle of the principle of Dawat al-Salafiyah. 10th of those principles the Shaykh mentioned, التزامنا بالكتاب والسنة في كل شؤوننا وأحوالنا. And also he mentioned that also of those things regarding التزامنا, that we uphold and adhere to the book and to the sunnah of the Prophet Islam, As-Sunnah as-Sahihah, in all affairs of our life. So in all matters of our life, that we uphold adhering to the Quran, to the Sunnah, in all affairs of our life. So regarding concern a matter regarding ibadat, regarding mu'amalat, regarding ibadat, meaning matters regarding worship, matters regarding which is salat, siyam, and the likes. Also regarding matters regarding aqidah, matters regarding belief. Also with tawheed, matters regarding mu'amalat, or we deal with others, regarding business, nikah, and the likes, divorce, that we uphold the sunnah in all these areas. So there's no area regarding Dawat al-Salafiyah that they leave untouched regarding the sunnah. Everything, the sunnah is given precedent, and the Quran is given precedent. So those are some of the principles regarding concern those matters, as we mentioned, and we said those are the 10 matters the Shaykh he mentioned. We said adding to that would be the 11th matter, which said what is mentioned as the first matter mentioned by Ahmad bin Hanbal, tamassuk bima kana alayhi ashab Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa iqtada bihim. That's of the guiding principle regarding Dawat al-Salafiyah, that we uphold and follow what the Salaf al-Salih were upon. We mentioned the Salaf al-Salih, that they are the first generation of Islam, of the Muslim. So those are matters regarding concerning that matter. And next matter we wish to discuss regarding the matter about the Salaf. And we said they mentioned Ashab Rasulullah, the matter regarding concerning the Sahaba. So regarding concerning the matters regarding the Sahaba, that is mentioned, which is a matter which is concerning a matter which is deemed between the ulama regarding a matter they discussed regarding concerning, we mentioned concerning that being owing to the matter of the Sahaba. So regarding concerning that, either matter that have been discussed by the Sahaba and is agreed upon. So a matter regarding the Sahaba that is agreed upon. So those people who irtadda an Islam after the death of the Prophet Islam and Abu Bakr Siddiq and the Sahaba that they fought against them, then that's agreed upon by the Sahaba concerning fought against the people who turned away from Islam during that time. That was agreed upon by the Sahaba. So it's like ijma. So matter with the Sahaba agreed upon ijma, then we accept it without any reservation. And so the next of the matter regarding that, aqwal of individual Sahaba. So regarding those matters that an individual Sahaba may have taken a position on the matter, what's our stance regarding this? So on that matter, that the Zahiriyah take a different stand, and this stand from the Zahiriyah is a khata, fahish, it's a clear-cut error on the Sahaba, under the Zahiriyah. So it's a clear-cut error on the Zahir regarding ذهبوا إلى ترك احتجاج بمذهب الصحابي. So the Zahiriyah, and as mentioned at times by Ibn Hazm, غفر الله له, where mentioned that Ibn Hazm غفر الله له ورحمه we mentioned إحكام في أصول أحكام regarding, at times he will cite regarding ذهبوا إلى ترك احتجاج بمذهب الصحابي, where they can somewhat they do not accept as a proof the madhab of a Sahabi. I would say that ulama mentioned that the error by way of the Zahiriyah. The call of the madhab of the view of the ulama, the correct view of the ulama regarding this matter, they mentioned, as for the madhab of Sahabi, so the madhab of Sahabi, they mentioned that it falls into different categories. One, a situation regarding madhab of Sahabi, الذي انتشر بين الصحابة ولم ينكر عليه. So a view taken by one particular Sahaba, one particular Sahabi, that matter is spread amongst and known by other companions. So a view, a position taken by one companion, but that view is known to other companions, and no one have made any form of rebuttal of it. On that matter, so again, a position, a view taken by a Sahabi, one companion, that view is known to other among the Sahaba, but none of them have rebutted or rejected that view or refuted that view. Then with the ulama of As-Sunnah, they're all concerning, then that become a form of ijma sukuti. Then that is classed to be ijma sukuti, because that the silence of those companions is a sign of their approval. So the silence of those Sahaba who knew of this view and did not went against it, then this is taken to be a form of their sukut. I mentioned ijma sukuti, ijma by way of sukut, by their silence. And I mentioned that is something that it takes precedent from any other view. That view of that Sahabi, then it holds precedent, becomes of ijma as-sukut. I mentioned jumhur ulama hujjah. With jumhur ulama, it's an hujjah. It's a form of evidence. As example of this, an example regarding ijma sukuti from the Sahaba, where one Sahabi take a position and it is known to the other Sahaba and no one rebutted that view. They mention a matter which they have different. So that's concerning a matter that is mentioned on this matter regarding al-mas'ala khuffayn or jorrabain. So wiping over the socks, the nylon socks, not leather socks. Clear? So wiping over the nylon socks, not leather socks. A hadith, so you have some hadith that is marfu', going back to the Prophet ﷺ on this matter. So you have some hadith that goes back to the Prophet ﷺ. There's some discussion regarding the authenticity of those hadith going back to the Prophet ﷺ. So they mentioned, but after the Sahaba, then there's evidence regarding that they did so. It's evident the Sahabi that they did so. Or some of the Sahabi who all that did something which is allowed. So based upon the Sahaba, some doing it and some remaining silent, then it showed that it's something which is okay to be taken as a hujjah. The second of those matters regarding the Sahabi, a particular Sahabi taking a view, they mention madhab, Sahabi, one companion, alladhi tafarrud bihi, one companion who takes a personal view, walam yu'arid madhab ghayri, and no other companion that they oppose this. So one companion, one single companion and lam yu'arid, and no other companion say something opposite. So they mentioned that also this view is considered to be, so there's no mu'arid. So there's no mu'arid from way of not but per se another companion, but no other text Islamically. So a companion takes a view, but there's no text that goes in opposition to this. Lam yu'arid mathab ghayru. So this view, there's nothing that goes in contradiction to this. So you might find a view taken by a companion, but there's nothing by way of the Quran or the Sunnah that goes in contrary to this, nor by way of any other companion. So by this they mention that on this matter, then also the Sahabi view on this, then it also can take precedent. The view of the Sahabi, it takes precedent. Then they mention the third mathab Sahabi, إذا خالفه mathab غيره من الصحابة. So on the third situation, one companion have taken a position, a view, but then we'll find that another companion take a view of a different opinion on the matter. So one Sahabi take a position, but another companion may take a different position. What's the situation regarding this? And regarding this case, there's no clear text from the Quran and the Sunnah. So there's no mention, on this matter, there's no clear text in the Quran and the Sunnah. So if there's a clear text in the Quran and the Sunnah on that matter, then one will take the view that is in line with the Quran and the Sunnah. But if there's no clear text, so one companion take a position, another companion take another position, but there's no clear dalil from the Quran, from the Sunnah on this matter, what's the stanza, what the position to be taken? Then this goes into different maratib of those that can somewhat will aid one view over another. The view that is taken by the Khulafa al-Rashid or Khulafa al-Rashidun. So any of the Khulafa al-Arba are more of that view, then that give some form of precedent to that view, that can somewhat strengthen that view. So a view that we find as Abu Bakr or Omar or Uthman or Ali, or some of them are of that view, then that give strength to that view, whether all of them or most of them. Then that will give precedent, give more of a strength to that view. So that's concerning, so the Kibar ulama, the Sahaba, when they take a position, it gives strength to their view. So that's concerning those matters pertaining to the Sahaba, and the Prophet mentioned regarding the view of the Sahaba concerning that, إِنَّهُ مَنْ يَعِيشْ مِنْكُمْ فَسَيَرَى اِخْتِلَافًا كَثِيرًا فَعَلَيْكُمْ بِسُنَّتِي وَسُنَّةِ الْخُلَفَاءِ الرَّاشِدِينَ الْمَهْدِيِّينَ أَضْهُ عَلَيْهَا بِالنَّوَاجِدِ. So Islam mentioned regarding concerning to know that Islam also have given some form of precedent regarding Hujjiyat Qawl Sahaba. But Islam says, عليكم بسنتي, that you should owe to my sunnah, وسنة الخلفاء الراشدين المهديين, and also to the khulafa of the Khulafa al-Rashid, who are the Sahaba, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, during that time period. So their view, it's ought to be of something of hujjah, something of an evidence. So their view are not to be easily to be dismissed and to be put aside from the Sahaba and those who follow their path. Then he mentioned regarding concerning that matter as being of the iqtida. They mentioned iqtida, so concerned, so their understanding is given weight. The understanding of the Sahaba, it is it has carried weight, and one should not contradict them. One should not contradict them on matter that they have spoken about, and there's either to clarify the Quran or the Sunnah or their own ijtihad, as we had mentioned. So that's concerning those matters that are covered regarding ittiba, manhaj, or concern owing to what, as mentioned by Ahmad Hanbal, concerning that, owing to what the companions of the Prophet ﷺ were upon. So that kind of somewhat are of certain matters that we mentioned regarding that matter. The next point is regarding al-bidah. There's much also to be said about bidah regarding concerning that in the next. So we'll stop at this point regarding this matter and continue next week regarding discussion regarding al-bidah, and that will be the second point. So we'll end concerning this first point that is mentioned here, and we'll discuss concerning what follows regarding of these usul, these principles that one should follow in studying matters relating to Aqidah, to ensure one understand these things correctly and uphold that which is correct. So of the way to understand the correct Aqidah, Tamassuk, as he mentioned, to hold what the companions of the Prophet ﷺ were upon and to follow their example. Regarding al-ilm, how we take knowledge. Regarding al-fahm, how we understand what istidlal and how we understand and extract rulings. Also regarding points regarding Aqidah, what they're upon, we are upon. Regarding al-amal, regarding our actions, ibadat, mu'amalat, how we represent Islam and apply Islam. And also regarding as-suluk, regarding concerning our conduct and behavior, and also ad-dawah, as to be discussed. So all of these things, we look to the Salaf, from the Sahaba, wa tabi'een, wa atba' tabi'een, on these points, and to follow their example. So these are the distinguishing features of Dawat al-Salafiyya, Ahl-Sunnah wal Jama'ah, ala mathab as-Salaf. So the second point that he mentioned will be concerning wa tark al-bidah. So at that point, inshallah ta'ala, we'll discuss in the next session regarding al-bidah and those points that relates to al-bidah. With this, inshallah ta'ala, we'll end here. وَبِاللَّهِ تَعَالَى تَوْفِيقٌ وَهَادِي لَلسَّبِيلِ وَالْآخِرَ وَالْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.